If you don't know what your target audience wants, how can you possibly give them what they need through your copy? If you're failing to ask the important questions before you ever draft a single word, then you are failing at SEO writing for humans. So, user intent. What in the world is it? If you're asking that question, you're probably not alone. Before we can determine user intent, we probably should define it. Most people realize that user intent is nothing more than industry jargon. And all it really means is, what are people looking for? What are they thinking when they sit down in front of a computer, a keyboard, or even their mobile phone and try to figure out what it is they want? They might be searching for a car repair place near them, a hair salon, maybe they want to go on vacation. What they want when they sit down in front of Google or Bing or Yahoo or any search engine is considered user intent. So now that you know what user intent is, how do you figure out what user intent means for the content that you're writing? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There are plenty of fancy tools out there that help you determine user intent. You'll pay a lot of money to use them. I'm also going to let you in on a little secret. You don't really need them. I have been doing SEO content writing and SEO copy for 25 years. I very rarely use a paid service to help me with research of any kind. Why is that? Well, it's because I understand user intent fully. I understand fully the products and the brands and the services that I am writing for. Part of determining user intent means you have a complete grasp of what it is, the message that you're trying to convey. Because once you understand the value of a product or a service, then you understand how users might be thinking about your product or service, or what they might be searching for that could lead them to your product or service. So that's a huge part of user intent, understanding the marketplace that you're writing for. I guess before you use anything fancy, any tools, any software, anything, take the time to get to know the brand that you're writing content for. Sometimes this can be talking with the CEO, boards of directors. If it's a small business, spend some time with the small business owner, interview them, ask them why they started their business. What do they hope to accomplish with their business? Are they trying to solve a problem? Are they providing a valuable service? Every brand has a story. So before you can even determine what users might find appealing about it, you have to take the time to understand the brand. That is always the first step in determining user intent. The second step in determining user intent is to simply check out search results. And this is the number one tip that I can offer anyone who is interested in learning about user intent and using it to make their content writing better. Now, how do we do this? Bear with me for a moment. I will share my screen with you and show you free, very easy way to manipulate any search engine to help you find user intent. Now, I happen to be using Google because, quite frankly, Google is used by more than 90% of searchers worldwide. We're not just talking about the people in Nebraska or the people in the United States. Globally, 90% of people who access the internet for anything use Google. So we're going to use them as our example for today. Now, you can certainly do what I'm about to show you in Bing. I know that it works there. Yahoo is the same way. DuckDuckGo, it depends. Because of the nature of DuckDuckGo and the fact that they claim they don't track you, you may see things a little bit differently there. We'll check out DuckDuckGo for some of these search results, just so we can compare as part of this lesson. But here is my quick and dirty trick for finding user intent for any topic. Let's say, for instance, I want to go on vacation. I live in Pittsburgh. As you can see behind me, it's gray and dreary here. I think we've had 5 days of sunshine so far this year. That's just what it's like living here in Pittsburgh. So I want to go somewhere sunny for my vacation. So I am going to tell Google, this is my user intent. I want to vacation in the Bahamas. I bet it's going to be sunny there. So when I typed in that query, I was very clear to Google what my intent is. I want to have a vacation, and I want to specifically have it in the Bahamas. So as you can see, Google gives me all these helpful little responses. Now, these are all things that people have spent a lot of time and effort in. Some of them are paid. As you can see, this is a paid ad. But a content writer somewhere took the time and effort to put this content together using SEO keywords and other tricks of the trade to get it to rank well in Google. That has nothing to do with user intent, however. What I want to show you, if you scroll further down, this people also ask section. This is something that Google started doing within the last year or so. Other search engines do it as well. When you look at this, they are telling you exactly what people are searching for with this topic. It is so helpful. Why would you ever go anywhere else? Why would you pay thousands of dollars for expensive software that's going to do the exact thing that Google has done for you for free? Wasn't that nice of Google? I think so. I use this a lot. So how can you use people also ask to determine user intent? Well, let's look at the first 4 things we see here. This is what people are searching for. They want to know, what is the average cost of a trip to the Bahamas? That's a pretty common question for any product or service. People want to know how much it's going to cost them. So you can almost always expect that to be part of user intent. We work hard for our money. We want to know how much we have to hand over to you before we get whatever it is that we need from you. So you can almost always expect to see some variation of this question as part of user intent. Another popular question, what should I avoid in the Bahamas? That's probably an important thing to know if you've never been there and you want to have a good time and not end up in the hospital or with some other kind of emergency. Another popular user intent search result, is traveling to the Bahamas cheap? Probably not. Let's click on that to see. So if you click on that, is it traveling? You can see how quickly they answer the question. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later as part of user intent. Lastly, is the question, when should you not go to the Bahamas? Well, that's probably important to know, because if you're trying to escape yucky weather like I would be here in Pittsburgh, you don't want to go to the Bahamas during the rainy season, or, when they might have, less than ideal weather. You go to the Bahamas, you want it to be sunny and beautiful. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions here under people also ask. That gives you at least 6 search words, search sentences, like long tail keywords is what we call them in the industry, that you can use to determine user intent. We learned people want to know how much it costs, when they should go. Do they need a passport? That's on there. And let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 of those have to do with cost. So cost is a huge factor in determining user intent for anything that you're writing about. So as you can see, it's really easy to use that. So let's take another example. Let's say you came here today to learn something. So let's say we want to improve communication skills. And we specifically want to do it on Udemy. Look at that. So they gives me some things. And we scroll down here once again is also our people also ask. So my intent was to come here and find courses on Udemy that will help me improve my communications. That's why I searched the way that I did. But other people might also be interested in just in general how to improve their communication skill, whether it has anything to do with taking a course on Udemy or not. They're looking for ways to improve. And as you can see, the 4 people also ask are all variations of the exact same question. How do I improve my communication skills? It's just delivered slightly differently, depending on what the person was thinking when they conducted their search. So that is part of user intent. Everybody thinks differently. So that's another reason I really like this people also ask technique, because it gives you insight into how several different people are thinking about the exact same topic. Because let's face it, even if you use one of those fancy tools to find SEO keywords for a topic, not everybody is searching using that exact keyword. As you can see here, here are 4 different ways that people ask basically the same question. So it helps to know, because then you can craft your content based on how more than one person or more than one segment of people may be thinking about a topic. So there's that. So as you can see, the people also ask is a really easy way to determine user intent. Now, once you know user intent, you have, as I mentioned before, what we like to call long tail SEO keywords. All of these can be considered keywords for this topic. Let's put in another topic and see what we find out. Let's say I want to know the best colleges in the United States. Okay, I've asked it, best colleges in the US. Let's ask that as a question. What are the best colleges in the US? There's our people also ask again. It's so helpful. What's the number 1 college in the US? Now, if you recall, what I typed into the search engine was what are the best colleges in the US? That's my intent. I want to know what the best colleges are. I'm thinking maybe a top 10 list, top 50, something like that. I want to know more than one. But other people who have similar ideas, they only want to know what the top college is in the United States. They don't care about the rest of them. They want the best of the best. So this gives you some insight into additional user intent for this very same topic. What's the hardest college to get into? Maybe somebody's thinking if it's a good college, it's going to be hard to get into. So that's how they're searching for that. Like I said, really, really helpful. If you want insight into what people are thinking when they search for something, people also ask is the way to go to get it. That is the best insider tip at the moment that I can offer you. Now, as those of us who are in the business know, Google changes frequently, search engines change frequently. So the people also ask might be working now. 5 years from now, they might have something completely different, a new method, a new helpful tool. But I guarantee you that you will always find quick insight into any topic by conducting a search yourself for that same topic. So use that as a tool. You're a consumer too. Think like a consumer to help you write better content and to help you determine user intent for any product or service. It's really that simple. Now, if you want to use some of these fancy products, software, other tools and resources designed for people that are interested in writing about content and want better insight into user intent, there are analytics tools that you can use, not going to lie. I just don't think it's necessary. Now, maybe you want to start your search with this and then use one of those tools to compare and contrast and see if you're learning anything different with one of those fancy tools. My experience has been they don't usually provide enough additional insight to make it worth the expense. So, I'm not going to be a spokesperson for any of those software or resources right now because I've just not found them to be that useful for me. I've been in the business a long time. So after you've done it for a while, it does get easier to figure out what users might be thinking. But again, if you're just getting started, until you get the hang of things and before you invest a lot of time and money into something, I highly recommend the people also ask trick. Now, something that I want to talk about when determining user intent is clickbait titles. We've all seen them. In fact, if I search for them now, I'll probably give you some good examples. Let's say the Oscars just happened recently before I filmed this. So let's say most exciting Oscars of all time. As you can see, other people have searched for that. That's another thing that you will discover when you're searching, particularly in Google. If you're not in incognito mode, it will show you as you're typing. It will try to complete for you what you might be thinking based on what other people have searched for. So that can give you an awful lot of insight into user intent as well. If you just start searching and see what pops up in the bar, all down through here, these are all the different variations of what people have searched for, starting out with those words. Back to my original point, most exciting Oscars of all times. Let's see. This might not be the best topic for clickbait. Let's look up our favorite family in the United States here. Oh, here's lots of lovely clickbaity titles. As you can see on the Kardashians, things that are designed to make people click. And the sad part about clickbait titles, they don't always answer the question. So here's another one. Let's look up Oscar mishaps. Maybe that'll give us a... Well, here we go. I consider these clickbaity titles. The 10 biggest Oscar mistakes of all time ranked. The 23, oh, here's a really good one. The 23 most shocking moments in Oscars history. Simply shocking. Chances are, if you click on that, you might not be all that shocked, or it just might not answer the question. Advertisements are really good for this. The user intent for someone, let's say to pick a product, acne cream. They may be wanting to clear up their acne, find something that will help clear up their acne. So they're searching for acne treatment. What they get, top ways to rid yourself of acne forever. That's a clickbaity title. Because let's face it, you don't rid yourself of acne forever. We all know that. The point with clickbaity titles is they misrepresent user intent. People may be searching for one thing, and company or a blog, somebody, some brand of some kind, or even influencers want to get more eyeballs on their pages and on their information. So they'll use a clickbait title to take advantage of user intent, get people on their page, and then not answer their question anyway. Why I bring this up as part of user intent is that some major search engines like Google and Bing and social platforms like Facebook and Twitter have begun to penalize content that uses clickbait titles to mislead consumers based on user intent. So the last thing you want as a brand is to have someone search for your product or service only to have it come up with a warning label or a disclaimer from social media site or anywhere else that it's published saying that it may not be accurate. That doesn't really leave a good impression of your brand. And someone who was searching for a solution to a problem, that was their user intent. Found your brand, might have been really excited, clicked on an item that they found through Google, and the first thing they're met with is a disclaimer about it might not be accurate. What do you think that user is going to think of your brand moving forward? They're probably not going to come back. Even if, a month or two from now, their user intent takes them to Google and they're hunting for a state-of-the-art product that your company just created. They're going to remember the last time they came across your company and that disclaimer or warning label, and they're going to associate that with you as a not reputable brand. So it's important not to abuse and misconstrue user intent when you're crafting content. And we will talk about that in more detail later in this series when we go through how to craft some content. So if you stick with this, if you want to learn a little bit more about how to write SEO copy for human beings and not just search engines, continue on in this series. I will give you some valuable insight into how to find keywords, how to convert the copy that you write. And in one of our lessons, we will actually go over how, step by step, how to craft a piece of content. And that can help you if you've never done it before. Listening to someone talk about it and giving you tips is not the same as working through it. I like to work through these things with students so that they get that step-by-step experience and the hands-on experience of creating something on their own. When you actively use the tools that I'm sharing with you, then it gives you a better understanding of how to use them on your own later. So I hope that you will continue to join me in this series to learn more about how to write SEO content for humans. I thank you for joining me today. And as always, if you have questions, you can find me at the email after this video. I am happy to answer questions at any time or to refer you to additional resources, whether it be another Udemy video or some content online that can help you improve SEO content writing for human beings. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in future sessions.